I just want to say thank you for everybody for coming out to this session today, and welcome to Bowl Expo 2013. Everybody give yourselves an applause for being here today. All right. You deserve it. We're going to have a lot of fun. This particular seminar is going over mobile marketing basics, and we have with us here Brad Morrow from Mobivity, an awesome text messaging service. He's going to take you through the steps here, and you are the Vice President of Channel? Yeah, Vice President of Channel Partners, and he has all the information that you need to set up a really good text marketing program. Brad?
Is there a mic up here? All right, thanks, Heath, and thank you, everyone. I just want to correct Heath a little bit here. We do a little more than text messaging. We're a full-service mobile marketing services provider at Mobivity. I've been there at Mobivity for about 5 years, and we have evolved and broadened our products and services. We've made a few acquisitions, and I'm going to talk to you today about some of the things we're doing in mobile in general, beyond text messaging. We're going to talk about mobile web. We'll talk about some of the benefits of voice applications, which are very overlooked with mobile marketing. We'll also talk a little bit about applications. So here's a little outline of the presentation. I'll go into my background a little bit. We'll talk about the mobile revolution, the mobile phone revolution. The numbers are staggering. How many phones are being turned up? How many people are sending text messages on a daily basis? It's on a global, local, and regional level. It is just amazing what the mobile phone is doing to the way we work, the way we communicate, and the way we market our products and services. I'll talk about some of the options that are available with mobile marketing. Like I said, there's more than text messaging. I'll explain how it works, some of the things you might be facing, the decisions you might want to consider before you engage in your mobile marketing plan and strategy. I'll give you a couple examples in the industry and some case studies. I'll talk a little bit more about some fringe mobile technologies, or how you can take some of these existing mobile technologies and branch them off into other services like Wi-Fi. So if you're a bowling center and you want to offer Wi-Fi, you can integrate your text messaging service so that before somebody logs on to that Wi-Fi network, they have to give up their mobile phone number and agree to receive text messages as part of the marketing. And that's another way of getting people to opt in and build that subscription database. And then we'll have a Q&A at the end. And the Q&A is interactive. So what I did is I set up a text messaging Q&A. I'll explain it in a second here, right here. So I know sometimes speaking in front of a group of people or raising your hand, it can be a little intimidating. So if you want to ask a text message at any time, text ASK as the keyword, then put in a space, put in your question, and send it to the short code 55333. And then the questions will appear right here. Well, this isn't. Well, anyway, I got a scrolling list of questions that I'm receiving by text message. So bear with me one second. Okay, just a little about my background. I've been in digital media my entire career, the last 8 in mobile. I started at the NBA and in New York City, working for the digital media group at the NBA, and they basically had a short code and said to me, Get us in the game. We have teams that need to be using our short code and promoting tickets and team news and scores. We need mobile websites, and this was before applications were the big rage that they are now. But so I got the NBA up and running with a lot of their mobile products and services. I'm currently with Mobivity. We're a public company. Like I said, we've been around for about 6 years. We've made some acquisitions. We're headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm based in San Diego, and my title is VP of Channel Partners. So here is a list of some of Mobivity's customers. And what you see here is a very diverse list, a very diverse group of different providers. You see QSRs, major sports leagues. We've got broadcast solutions. So each one of these customers is doing something a little bit different. Whether it's a text-to-screen for the broadcast, what they do, like the Dallas Mavericks, will put up on their Jumbotron. Who do you think O.J. Mayo's favorite vacation destination is? Text A, B, or C. And then in the response text message, it'll say, join the Dallas Mavericks, news, sports, and ticket club. Reply Mavericks. And so that voting application and presentation was the gateway to get them into their text messaging club. Once they've opted in, now you can continue to promote. And there are times where Mark Cuban will make an audio recording, and in the text message broadcast, they'll say, tickets are, last-minute tickets. Call this number, and it'll be Mark Cuban on the phone, and he'll say, come in right now. It'll be his voice. And it's just another promotion and use of mobile, all over the mobile phone. So that's just one example. So what I want to talk about, just to set everything up, is really what's going on in this whole digital revolution we're experiencing right now, and particularly mobile. And this truly is a revolution that we are experiencing. Everything's digital. It's really impacted the way we work, the way we communicate, and with every major revolution in humankind, there have been some pretty major achievements. Now, 10,000 years ago, there was the agricultural revolution. There was the industrial revolution. We're now experiencing the digital revolution. And each one of these experienced, or what contributed to it was some major advancement in technology. And the one we're going to focus on today is in the bottom right, which is the mobile phone. So I'll present to you a couple of marketing statistics, and I think you'll agree. Some of them are quite staggering. 7 billion people in the world today, 4.8 billion own mobile phones. That's more than people who own toothbrushes. 1.7 billion mobile phones were sold in 2012 on a global level. This one I think is pretty amazing. There are 3 times more smartphones activated every minute than babies being born. And in 2012, over 8 trillion text messages were sent. Here domestically in the U.S., 6 billion text messages are sent every day. That's 69,000 per second. The average American mobile phone user checks his phone 150 times a day. And mobile advertising in the U.S., 3.3 billion in 2011. By 2015, expected to grow to 20 billion. And I think that's underestimating, because the numbers are showing that the money being spent in mobile technology right now is quite large. And then on a local level, and this more applies to you guys and smaller businesses and medium-sized businesses, 94% of all text messages are read immediately within the first 6 minutes. It is estimated that 43% of shoppers will consider or will consult their mobile phone before making a buying decision. And 139 million was spent on mobile marketing in 2012. I think this is also a very telling sign about what's happening right now. And it's this little device right here that is replacing just about all these products. I mean, these were once, everybody had a regular phone, and there were pay phones that were so much more common. You saw them everywhere. They're gone. Cameras, video cameras, even photo albums, going away. Wallets, credit cards, everything is going to the phone. We're now looking at television and hearing radio and music, all on the phone. CD players, iPods, even books. Books are being replaced by tablets and mobile phones, clocks, stopwatches, paper, maps, the list goes on. Almost every day, there's another product or service that is being replaced by the mobile phone. And then these industries, they're heavily impacted by what's going on with the use of the mobile phone. Just about all these industries had very set ways of doing things, and they were behemoths that just really weren't adapt to change, but now they have to. The companies that are in healthcare and education and technology that are not adapting the mobile phone as part of their operations and day-to-day use, they're falling behind. And if you need any more convincing, ask these guys here. These companies, these huge, major international companies based here in the U.S., are all doubling down on mobile technology and the use of the mobile phone. They have massive investments in the future of building out mobile technology, integrating it into their databases, their operations, their customers' operations, everything. So what does this mean? What does this all mean? It basically boils down to a lot of your customers are on their mobile phones, and they're on it quite frequently. And as I said earlier, more buying decisions are being made after consulting your mobile phones. So you guys have got to get there. It's important that businesses today have some kind of mobile presence, and they have a strategy around it, and there's ROI associated with it. And that's what we help you to do at Mobivity. It goes beyond text messaging. It goes beyond having a campaign here and hoping it turns into a coupon where that somebody can redeem. It's really building a mobile strategy that creates a cycle where you're constantly communicating with your customers. You're pushing offers and coupons and news and updates, and this is what's going on at my bowling center. And you're bringing them in, and they can redeem their coupons and offers, and then you reward them. And a mobile customer loyalty program is a big part of keeping that cycle going and continuing to market to them. Because they're no longer looking at the yellow pages and going to the yellow pages to find you. They'll go to the internet, they might find you there, but the mobile phone is really where a lot of your customers are today. That's their touch point, their communication, that's right at the forefront of their thought. And at Mobivity, we can help you build a mobile strategy. Okay, so Sort of the building blocks of creating a mobile strategy involves these fundamental technologies of the phone. There's SMS or text messaging. There's mobile websites, which are different than your online website. Your bandwidth isn't as fat as your PC. So you have to create sort of a subset of your online site, and we'll go over some of the important things to put in there. There's applications. Applications were a very hot topic. It was a buzzword amongst major brands. Everybody had to have an application, download it to the phone. The jury's still out whether there is ROI on applications. If you're a brand, say like Oreo cookies, do you really need an application? I mean, they're expensive to build. You have to port them on a lot of different mobile devices. They're expensive to maintain. For a small to medium-sized business, I'm not so sure it's a wise decision and there's ROI. But if the objectives are clear and attainable, then maybe an application is worthwhile. And then voice services. This is typically overlooked, as I said earlier, in a mobile strategy. You have a phone number, people call you up, and typically there's a recording, but you can integrate some of your mobile services within that audio call. Somebody calls up, and maybe they just want your address. Well, you could say on that audio call, if you would like our address by text message, press 1. They press 1, and a text message could be sent right down to the phone. Now that text message could say, here's our address. Here's a link to our mobile website. If you would like to join our mobile text club, reply with this keyword. So just with a phone call, now you're promoting your other mobile services. And that's the cycle that I'm talking about, is your voice applications or your voice services should be promoting your text messaging services that promote your mobile website. And that's how you build a mobile strategy. It's to have a complete strategy on how you want that customer to engage with your center on their mobile device. So at the very basics, a text marketing program, I think, is a very good idea. They're relatively inexpensive. They're highly effective. You're basically sending somebody a text message right to their phone that will be read 94% of the time within about 6 minutes. So what's important to understand is that it needs to be timely, because that person will probably get a few more text messages throughout the day, and that marketing text message might be making its way to the bottom. So if you have a special, say for instance, Tuesday nights are kind of a slow night. Well, you might want to send out a text message on Tuesday morning that says, come in tonight and you'll get 2-for-1 bowling tonight. Or, 50% off a t-shirt. Something to that effect that'll bring that person into the bowling center. And like I said, it's relatively inexpensive. These plans, I've got another slide coming up on price. For what you get out of it, it's very inexpensive. It's a relatively high response rate. I mean, email marketing is, I think, you're happy if you get a 2 to 3% response rate. We're seeing small businesses and medium-sized businesses getting a response rate of upwards of 30%, if the offer is timely and the offer is right. And the opt-out rates are low. A lot of our customers are seeing opt-out rates of under 10%. So the customer, the end user, the customer likes these text message offers. Otherwise, they would just opt out. And we'd be out of business if people were opting out that frequently. So to get started and to get a text messaging marketing plan going, first you're going to need to find a text messaging services provider. And it's pretty interesting the way this industry and this business has evolved. We have a mergers and acquisition team that goes out and they do nothing but look and research the market and see who's out there and available and can complement our business and make a good acquisition target. And I think their last count, there were over 600 text messaging services providers. Now, some people are just agencies, ad agencies that don't have their own technology. They're licensing somebody else's technology, and they're just more of a consultant using somebody else's technology. This includes everybody to one-person, two-person messaging providers, all the way up to public companies like ourselves. So there's a number of text messaging service providers out there, and I'll go through a couple slides here that help you understand what they offer and what to look for. So then you need a keyword. And the keyword, does everybody understand what the keyword is? No? The keyword is the body of the text message that your customer, that bowling customer, is going to text, and they're going to text it to a short code. And a short code is very similar to a phone number. When I send a text message to you, I send it to your phone number. Well, in this case, you send it to a short code. And a short code is either a 5 or 6 digit number. And that's where we set up all the automated messaging is on that short code. So, and the keyword helps us route it to the right message. So when I text Bowl Expo to 86677, our system knows that that keyword wants the response that, hey, thank you for texting Bowl Expo. Here is your offer. Here's your coupon. You will be opted in. The keyword typically reflects your brand. So I live in San Diego. There is one of the nearest bowling centers is in Oceanside to my house, and it's surf bowling, and their keyword might be surf. And you text surf to the short code, and then that opts the person in. So now that bowling center will be creating their subscription database. It's all done automatically on the back end. And so that's what you want to be out there promoting within your bowling center is the keyword in the short code. And you want it to say 4 offers, 4 coupons, 4 deals sent directly to your phone. So just to recap, you need the text messaging provider. They have the software that manages the keyword in the short code. And then the next thing you need to do is promote it. And promote it on everything. If you send out direct mail pieces, just like you promote your URL and your phone number, text your keyword, promote your keyword and your short code. It's just another touch point or form of communication between you and your customer. So once that's all set up, and all the messaging has been created on the back end, it's now you can just watch your database build, and your database will grow. If your offers are compelling enough, it might go viral. And so a friend might get a text message that says, come in on a Tuesday night to get 2 for 1 bowling, and they might forward that text message to their friend. And so that's how the subscription database will grow. Then you want to broadcast to that subscription database. We recommend 1 text message a week. No more than 2, that says, hey, come in, this is the current offer right now, or it's Tuesday, come in for 2 to 1 bowling. So that's done with a software application that's provided by the text messaging service provider. With Customer Connect, it's built right into Customer Connect. And so these are kind of the basics you need to know. Text messaging provider is the service provider, very similar to an email service provider. You need a keyword that's branded towards your bowling center. The shortcode will probably be issued to you. You promote it on, I got a case study here of a bowling center that did a great job promoting. They were getting, I think it was 30 or 40 opt-ins a week. They did an outstanding job. Their subscription database grew very rapidly, and they were broadcasting once a week, and they got a nice ROI on it. So here's some of the details about the text messaging providers. You can get a basic plan. They start at $25, typically go up to $80 a month. That'll give you 1 to 5 keywords. Sometimes you want more than one keyword, maybe one to target your league bowlers, maybe one to target just open bowlers, or there might be certain events. Like you might have a special event, like a Super Bowl party. So it might be text Super Bowl to the short code, and that will build your smaller database for just this particular event, and then you can broadcast a text message out to them to give them updates on this particular event. Like I said, everything's done through a web-based software application. That's where you manage your messages. That's where you manage your broadcasts. It's very important here at this bullet here to select a provider who is MMA compliant. And let me talk a little bit about the MMA. It stands for the Mobile Marketing Association. They set down a list of rules and best practices about how to communicate to mobile subscribers. Basically, they have come out and said it is illegal. Well, I don't want to say illegal because they're not a governing body. They're not the FCC, but if you violate their rules, it can move up to the FCC and become a lot bigger issue. Papa John's, for instance, is facing a pretty large lawsuit that started with a violation of the MMA guidelines, and it then became a violation of the FCC, and now they are in a class action lawsuit. So the MMA produces a list of best practices and rules about the do's and don'ts of text messaging. And their basic request is don't send out unsolicited text messages. Everybody gets in trouble with the MMA when they take a list from over here of people who did not opt in through a keyword, and they found some list of mobile phones in their area. They uploaded it into their broadcast tool, their text message marketing tool, typed in an offer, and hit send. And when they hit send, it went out to a bunch of people who did not opt in, did not request to receive these messages, and that's where these violations occur. In our software, we broke that capability. You have to have special access in order to upload a list. And most text message providers are very compliant to the MMA, and it's just something to be conscious of. You really don't want to send out unsolicited text messages. Another thing to look for in a text messaging provider is somebody who can provide good support and advise you on the best practices. And I think this is pretty important because a lot of small to medium-sized businesses, and even the larger ones too, think it's a great idea. They sign up, they get their keyword, they get their short code, and then it ends right there. They don't promote it. And if they promote it a little bit. It's not promoted on their website. It's only maybe a window cling within their business, kind of buried. And they're wondering why isn't anybody signing up? And I think it's very important to have and to select a text marketing provider who will spend an hour with you periodically and advise you on how this can work for you. Because it is working very well for most of our customers. And it concerns us when we have a comparable business who is not having success with it. And we'll get on the phone and be proactive and say, look, we have company over here that's comparable to yours, and they're having great success. They're sending out thousands of messages a month. They're getting a 20% response rate, and that's turning into this much revenue for them. Why isn't it working the same for you? And it's typically, I don't have time. I'm not sure what this is all about. Sounded like a good idea at the time. So that's one thing to be careful of. Is you don't want a text messaging provider who will just say, here's your keyword, here's your shortcode, you're on your own. Because they think you know what you're doing. And, it's sometimes nice to have somebody to speak to, not just the first time, but maybe, hey, I sent out a couple of broadcasts this month, and I didn't do so well, or I did great this month, but last month it went a little differently. So it's nice to have a service provider who you can speak to about this to make it a success. Okay, I'm going to just jump into a little technology here. I wasn't going to present this slide, but I was asked by the BPA to talk about this a little bit, just because this comes up, I guess, when some of the bowling centers are looking into text message providers. So, much like your internet connection, as a text marketing provider, we have connectivity to the major carriers, AT&T. There's 48 in the U.S. So, the big four being Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. Then there's the second tier, U.S. Cellular. And so we have a connection to each one of those carriers, and it's a fast connection. But then other providers might have a medium connection, which is using HTTP. This is the one you got to watch out for, is the SMTP. This is sending text messages over an email connection. And if you want me to explain how that works, I can go into it. But these are the three differences. SMTP is very fast, it's very reliable, it has very high capacity. We service the NFL, the Dallas Mavericks, Sonic Drive-In, who's got millions in their subscription list. They send out a text message. It can't arrive at the phone an hour later. Theirs are typically timely, and it's got to get out within minutes. So having a very high capacity and high throughput is important, and we can't do without it. You'll also have HTTP, which is not the highest. It's a medium speed connection. And the way that works is typically they throttle the messages. So, you will only get something on like 10 messages per second when your service provider connects with HTTP. And the way that becomes important is if they have a big broadcast and then maybe your 300 message broadcast goes out, you're going to sit behind their bigger broadcast until all these go out and they're queued. So it might be an hour before your messages get out, before it gets, a bigger broadcast goes out. That's the danger of the HTTP connection. This one, you got to stay away from. It's very unreliable. Basically what happens is they take the phone number and they convert it. So it's your phone number at AT&T.net. So they convert it to an email address. It goes over AT&T's email connection, their SMTP, and it's sent via an email gateway as a text message to the phone. It shows up on the phone as a text message, but it's delivered over email gateway. You can't respond back to these messages, and again, they're very unreliable. The thing you have to be careful of is when somebody offers you an unlimited messaging plan, this is typically what they're sending it over. Because there's no cost to send the message. It's over email. We're on an SMTP connection, and we can offer unlimited messaging plans because we do such massive volume. We're getting close to about 20 million messages a month. We have very good pricing and economies of scale. Okay, so you've got your keyword, you've got your short code, you've got a service provider who provides you software, and that software allows you to set up your messages, view reports. It's typically a web-based application. You log in with a login and password. You have a dashboard. And the software's, I've seen a lot of these platforms. It's getting very simple to use. It's usually one interface. And you see the list that you want to broadcast to. You select the list. You type the message. You either schedule it or hit send. Out it goes. Gets down to the mobile phone. And hopefully it's compelling enough that you get a high response rate. Remember when I was talking about there's some customers who are very effective at their text messaging programs and others aren't? It typically is because they're not promoting it. And what I've done, and throughout the show, we're going to have a booth on the floor. I created this fictional bowling center called Mobivity. It's a Mobivity Bowling and Fun Center. So I want everybody, when they have a moment, to pull out their phone, and you can text Mobivity to 86677. So this is a typical window cling or a sign that you might see within the bowling center. And this is the gateway. This is going to get people into your mobile platform and into your strategy. You get them doing that first text. So if you get out your phone and you text Mobivity to 86677, you'll get a text message back. And you'll see in that text message, there's a link. And that link is to a mobile website. And in that mobile website, and I'll go through some of the details of the mobile website, is more information about your bowling center. But this is very important, is to promote, and cross-promote, and re-promote, and co-promote. And just like you do your phone number, just like you do your website, just like you do on any other your marketing material, just put this simple statement right here. Text Mobivity to, or text keyword to shortcode. And that's the gateway, as I said. That gets them into your mobile strategy. Of course, by the MMA, their guidelines, we have to have the small print there that explains you will receive one text message offer per week. You have to let the person know. You have to be explicit about how many text messages that they can expect. Message and data rates apply. That's another MMA requirement. It's in the fine print, but it's got to be there. And the challenge is to build that subscription database. So here are some recommendations. Make one offer per week. You might want to try two, but if you start seeing that opt-out rate, more stops coming in, your subscription database leveling off, you know you're sending too many. So that's an indication there. And that'll all be in the reporting of these web-based tools. It only takes minutes. You're not going to need anybody with any real technical skill or special skills. It's no different than email. You log in, you see the dashboard of the UI, you type in your text message, select the recipients, the audience, your subscription database, hit send. I think this is an important point, is to be consistent. You know, the idea is really to condition that customer so they can expect to receive one text message a week, possibly two. But it's important to stay with the program. You'll see results. And like I said, it's easy and very effective. So this is what you can expect. Those are pretty high response rates. 15 to 30%. Much greater than direct mail, much greater than email marketing. It's direct, it's concise, it's on the phone. You give them a compelling offer, they will respond. We see some customers with an average growth rate, 2 to 3 opt-ins per day. Before you know it, you have 50 by the end of the month at a 19% or 20% response rate. That's 10 more people coming in. By the end of the next month, you're up to 100. By the end of the next month, couple months, 6 months, you have 300. A 20% response rate. What am I up to? That's about 60 additional customers coming in per week. That can start now becoming compelling. The idea is to increase foot traffic, awareness of your bowling center, and most importantly, to grow revenue. So here's a case study of a 40-lane bowling center that we worked with. We got them up and running with a keyword and a shortcode. They're using our text messaging platform. And they were very creative with their promotions. They put up a lot of window clings and pops right there at the point of purchase, little promotion, little tents that say text keyword, the shortcode, get offers and coupons directly to your mobile phone. Got to have that message and data rates apply in the small print, but they did a nice job promoting it. I thought was a very interesting idea is this bullet right here is where they had waitresses in their league bowlers. They had waitresses hand out business cards. And they got a staggering 30 to 75 new bowlers in the first couple weeks. That's not 2 or 3 per day or 1 or 2 per day. They were growing at a very high. They got their database up and large in a very short amount of time. So they targeted league bowlers a little differently than event bowlers and open bowlers. But they had very high opt-in rates. You'll see right here, the 60% opt-in rates, right there at the point of purchase, right there when they're paying for the game or whatever they bought there. And also what they did is they trained their staff to talk about this. So when they were doing the transaction, they would point to the little tent or the little promotion, say, "Hey, have you heard about our text marketing program? Well, we'd like to have you back. I suggest you join our text marketing program because we'll send you offers, coupons right to your phone. And feel free to forward these coupons and offers to your friends." And so that's how they got such a high opt-in rate here. So within the first month, they had 400 new subscribers. That's a very impressive number. And they were getting a 19% response rate on their offers. And that translated to about 50 to 75 new bowlers per week. And, this is a very successful story. Here's another one, and I wanted to point out a pretty key statistic. We're working with a major quick serve restaurant, and it's kind of funny because this started out as two of our sales guys walked into this quick serve restaurant, and they talked to the manager behind the counter, and this is when we were a small company, and said, "Would you be interested in doing a text marketing program?" And it just so happened the manager was there, and he said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And they got it going. Well, that manager also was a regional manager, and he had a couple other of these QSRs that he managed and operated. And it was very successful at the first one, so he opened it up to all 10 of his. Well, then corporate caught wind of it, and now there's 3,500 of these QSRs that are heavily involved in text marketing. And each individual restaurant is just, they have a unique keyword, and they're promoting and broadcasting their text message in their local area. So it's all local promotion and local business. Corporate does have vision into what all the different restaurants are doing, and they have access to that. They will send a corporate message. So I'll tell you how that works. They're getting a very high response rate at 30%. Their offers are great, and they're usually for that particular day. They go out early in the morning, and they're usually an offer for that day. So it was most recently Father's Day, and they said, Father's Day offer, it's half-price shakes, or something to that effect, and only good for today. So it was very timely. But here's the key statistic, I think. They've had a lot of their marketing and data and analysts look at their text message list, which is now in the millions. And they're seeing that every time that they push that broadcast button, they're getting a 30% response rate. And they've calculated that every subscriber on that list means $9 more per month in revenue. So they have about 1 million subscribers and growing. That over the course of time, it became $9 million additional per month for this QSR. Well, now they're bought in, and they put and promote it on their commercials. You might see these upcoming campaigns where there'll be text, keyword to short code, calls to actions. They put it on their receipts. They put it in their restaurants all over the place, and they're promote, because they know that every subscriber they get is $9 additional. And that's about the price of one additional customer to come in. So if you start reaching these numbers of a 30% response rate, and the average bowler comes in and spends $50, if you get 50 additional subscribers or 100 additional customers per month, that turns into a few $1,000s in additional revenue for your bowling center. So they are focused. Their goal is to drive up that subscription database. And they, like I said, they put their keyword and short code on everything. And so each individual restaurant will broadcast in their local area and say, the local football team had a game today, come in afterwards and get 2-for-1 hamburgers. But then corporate will send out a text message that'll say, Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for being a member of our text message program. It's New Year's. Come in for 2-for-1 shakes or whatever the coupon special is. And it's good for that day only. Yeah, they typically will. Yeah. So I've talked mostly about, how am I doing on time? Oh, I've got 10 more minutes? No, 40 more minutes. Yeah, okay. I've talked mostly about text message marketing and building up that subscription database with a keyword and a short code and sending out broadcasts. But there's some other things you can do with text messaging. There's voting and polling. That's what some of our major sports franchises do. As I said, the Dallas Mavericks will put up on their Jumbotron and at halftime or in between quarters, it'll say, how many points is Dirk Nowitzki going to score tonight? And people will guess A, B, or C. And then when you look up at that Jumbotron, it'll say sponsored by American Airlines. And then in that text message back that says thank you for your vote, it'll say sponsored by American Airlines. Here's a link to our mobile website. Join our loyalty club or join the American Airlines frequent flyer club. So it's cross-promoting. And once again, that initial text message is the gateway. We have text-to-screen, which I have going right here on this PC right here. And if you can see, I can't get it up. If you can get it up there. But right here, you can see all the questions that are coming in. Oh, we've got a few more. This is a text-to-screen display that, here, let me make it full screen. So this is what I had up earlier. If you want to ask a question, text ask, then your question. So put ask and space, your question to 55333. And these are the questions that are coming in right now. But this is the text-to-screen. So maybe in your bowling center, you might want to have something like this on your display, and in your monitors, somebody could text something that says, hey, I just bowled a strike, or I just bowled a turkey. And, you might have seen these. They do them sometimes in broadcasts on scrolls and stuff. The issue with this is you need a moderator. That's one additional person. Because if you just open it up to somebody to text whatever they want, sort of anonymously, you see where this is going? Yeah. There's automated moderating tools, but the smart people know how to get through those. You can also have pics to screen, again, and moderators necessary, but people can get take the camera on their phone, take a picture, and then send it somewhere to be displayed in a UI like this. Also, integration, and this is what I was talking about earlier about. There's other peripheral services that text messaging can touch. One of them, is, say for instance, as an example, is Wi-Fi. If you want Wi-Fi in your bowling center, you can set things up so that the splash page will request their phone number before you log on to my free Wi-Fi network. Give us your phone number, and we'll send you coupons and offers, and join our text club. And then there can be advertising and on that splash page as well. But those are sort of the peripheral integrations that you can set up with your mobile strategy. So when I press here, I think that's a static picture. But here's the live vote. So you can, who's the greatest legend in PBA history? You can text PBA1, PBA2, PBA3 to the short code 55333. And so these numbers will start moving. You can see it's animated graphics. This can be in high definition. As I said, these are the kind of things that the sports teams that we work with, they do these kinds of. But this is a text messaging program. It's got a visual display, and again, it's a gateway. Then you can reply back. Here's a link to my mobile website. Here is my phone number. Those kind of things. And the idea is to get that person opted in. We can do this in high def and standard def. We've ported it, to big HD Jumbotrons all the way down to PC monitors. So I don't know if that answers your question. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I think so. At this point, we're talking about like a mixing board of some kind. Where this is basically a flash animation, and if it's got a port that you can plug in this source to, and then put this at full screen, that's typically how it works at a lot of the stadiums we work at. There's because they jump from video to one graphic to another graphic, and then they just flip to another graphic here. So I'm not familiar with this Cubica system, but we might have to take it offline and talk about it. Okay, so now we'll talk about mobile websites. Because if you participated in any of these text campaigns that I've been talking about, you got a text message back that had a link. You click on the link, and a mobile website will appear. And basically, what they are it's the internet on your mobile phone. But the fact that you're going over a wireless network provided by your carrier, AT&T, and you're not getting a lot of bandwidth, you need to have a smaller subset of what's on your bigger website. You typically want just a couple of key pieces of information that's important to your customers. You want the phone number, and what's nice on a mobile website, you can support click-to-call, so your phone number is right there visually in that mobile browser, and if you click on it, it'll launch a call. You want the map so they're able to find out where you are. Business hours are a good idea. Facebook integration. I don't know if you do much promotion with Facebook or social media, but these mobile websites now, the one we've developed has the ability to send likes from that mobile website. And you can also gather data. I think the jury's still out whether people are putting in their information, unless they're making a purchase of some kind. But you can use the mobile website to say, hey, give us your name. Are you a league bowler? What's your, what kind of offers would you like? You might be able to capture data by that end user. So as I said, I created a fictional bowling center called Mobivity. And this is a typical mobile website. And that's really all you really need is a header. There's the click to call. You click on that number. It'll launch a call on the phone. And, as I said, you could have an IVR pick up, an interactive voice response pick up and say, hey, thank you for calling my bowling center. If you would just like directions sent to your mobile phone, press 1. You get a text message. It can go out. Would you like to join my text message program? Press 2. It'll initiate the opt-in sequence. So click to call is a good idea. A promotion about the Mobile Text Club. Here's a Facebook like. The address and a map. Yes. Yes, I would agree with that. However, okay, the question was, on some mobile websites, you'll see a link that says, click here to get to the primary, the full website. And maybe for tablets, that's a great idea. However, there's going to be some people who are network challenged, and you're going to try to cram down an entire website into a mobile device, and that might turn out to be a bad experience. That's the only danger there. Some people have much more sophisticated phones. There's also, a lot, still, smartphones are 50-60% of the market penetration. There's still 40% of the people out there who, can only render a very small mobile website. So you got to kind of be careful with that one. Interesting question. I think that's a personal choice. My phone, I only like to carry around one phone, and it's a mix of business and personal information on that phone. There's ways that you can isolate that information on one phone. The danger is I've got small children, and they pick up my phone and want to play games, and next thing I know, they're text messaging my boss, and that could be a problem. So, yeah, I think that's just a matter of personal preference if you want it. That means 2 plans, too. So it might be a little more expensive. So I want to talk a little bit about applications. Did anybody have any more questions about mobile web? I kind of went through it quickly. The point is really have your text program cross-promote your mobile web, have a lean mobile website so it's a good user experience that has the relevant information. And there's not any more questions. I'll move on to applications. Yes? No, I think you bring up an interesting point because what I'm talking about in our service is outside of Customer Connect. But we offer quite a bit more. Customer Connect, you'll get your email marketing, your text marketing, and with what I'm talking about is text marketing, mobile web, loyalty program. So it's a full mobile strategy that has multiple touch points, because one thing we've noticed being in this business is that some people like to receive text messages, others prefer a phone call, and others just want to look you up and search and find your mobile website. And it's our feeling that these mobile touch points that your users, destinations that users, you're trying to get users to go to, should cross-promote each other. That helps with the virility or making it viral. And it's the Customer Connect is more database, email, and just a text messaging program instead of sort of a full mobile strategy. And that's the primary difference. No. These are good questions. I would agree with you. We're talking, lots of databases, different UIs, training, different members, at your bowling center, how to do this with this UI, different login, different password. I would agree with you. It helps to have a service provider, though, where they can pick up the phone and say, look, can you send out this text message broadcast for me, or have somebody who can advise you on this, because it's new technology, it's very fresh, and you just want to make a positive user experience, especially on their phone. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about applications. Now, applications were a very hot topic, and they still continue to be. And the demand for applications has really helped increase the prevalence of smartphones. But do you need one? And as I mentioned earlier, there's certain brands that jumped in and they spent $50,000, $100,000, upwards of $150,000 to build an application just because they wanted to be on mobile phones. But if it doesn't have a functional utility, like I can check my bank balance or transfer funds, or I don't know if an application is the right idea. Now, that's a particular application for your brand. Now, there's other applications that you can use and be part of. And one that we have at Mobivity is called Stamped, which is a customer loyalty program. And it basically is an application that's on the phone, and it hosts, QSRs and small businesses can all be part of Stamped. And all it really is replaces that, the little card stamp that you click to get the credit in order to accumulate enough games to get your free game. And if you come by our booth, I'll show you an example of it. But it's a loyalty application right on the phone where you launch it, you are eligible to receive, a credit. You bought that fifth sandwich, now you get the sixth for free. And it opens up the camera on the phone takes a picture of a QR code, you get your credit, and it records how many credits you receive. Once you've hit that limit, you show that you've hit the limit and you're eligible for that free bowling game or that free loyalty incentive, and it's all right there on the phone. But that's an example of an application that you didn't have to build, you didn't have to invest in, you can be part of, you're not you're just paying a service fee in order to have a mobile loyalty program. Any questions about applications? I know we all have them on our phone. I've downloaded a ton, used them once, gotten rid of a ton. They clutter my phone. So I also want to talk about voice services. And I think I've gone through this a little bit. But like I said, this is highly overlooked when it comes to mobile applications and part of the mobile strategy. I think we're all familiar with interactive voice response, or IVR. That's when you call your bank, your insurance company. An automated voice picks up the phone and says, give me your account number, please identify yourself, what are you looking for, press 1 for this. Typically there's text-to-speech and voice recognition that can understand a little bit about what you're saying to guide you to that customer service agent to help you out. Well, you can use interactive voice response in your marketing. So with your standard telephone number, you can have a recording come on and say, hi, welcome to Surf Bowling. This week's specials are, or this is what we're offering. If you'd like a text message sent to your phone, press the 1 key now. You send the text message down to the phone. Now, there's that gateway I'm talking about, where now you can send more information. Wednesday nights is Budweiser night. You can get 2-for-1 pitchers, or we have this special this week. Opt into our mobile loyalty program. So again, this is another touch point, another way of reaching out to that consumer, or that consumer is contacting you, and then you want to draw them into your mobile strategy and get them in that cycle of going from text to mobile web to voice, and just having it all cross-promote and building that subscription database. So here's just a visual of kind of what I'm trying to hammer home and talk about is we're a full-service mobile marketing provider, and this is kind of our philosophy, is to cross-promote with all our different mobile marketing services. And then again, here's the cycle that you want to build with your customers. Receive, redeem, then reward. You receive the coupon, you receive the offer, they're notified about it, they've received it, they come into your center, they redeem it, they have a good time, they tell their friends, then you reward them. And just building this cycle over and over will bring in more customers, bring in more revenue. Okay, so I have time for Q&A. Let's see. We got about 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Are there any other questions? Yes. Yeah. There you go.
With the price of having a personal phone and also having a business phone, is there two different prices that you have to pay? Or is it just one cell phone that you can do the mobile loading and everything?
You would have to talk to your provider, but I know 5 people in the building at the same time using the same phone to get something free. Yes. Did everybody hear the question? Okay. So one of it. What was the first? The first part was about whether it's suggested to use an offer to get people to sign up. Yeah. Okay. So the first one was, do you want to give somebody an offer right away because they have, or reward them for joining the Text Marketing Club. And my suggestion is yes. If it is join our text club and get a free hot dog, text keyword to shortcode, yes, whatever works, whatever builds that database. And the response message could be thank you for joining our text club. Show this text message, and you'll get a free hot dog with your game of bowling. I would highly recommend that, because the game is to build that subscription database. The second part of the question, which I think is a very interesting one, and we're faced with this quite frequently, is sort of controlling the offers and the coupons. Because there is, with text messaging, a bit of a security concern. You know, if you have a printed coupon and you print 1,000 of them and send them out to your local community, you know that there's only going to be 1,000 out there, and you'll get 1,000 redemptions. But in the digital world, things can be replicated and delivered, and they can go viral. And you know, and my suggestion is, you know, be prepared for that kind of thing. And you almost have to make the upside for you better than the reward itself, especially when you first get started. You don't want to get burned right away, where you say, come in for a free meal and with a game of bowling. And if the game of bowling is $15 and the meal is $15, you know, that you're gonna see a loss right away. You'll be put off by text marketing out of the gate, and I don't think that's a wise idea. I think something that you could almost give away just as you get started. You want it to go viral. You want to use the viral capabilities to get people opted in, but you don't want to give away too much, so that as it scales and goes viral, you're losing money. So that's what you have to be concerned with and careful of. And that's why I think as a community, as a bowling community, you share these kind of ideas on what's worked and what hasn't. Because if, you know, you give away a free game, you know, I don't know what the cost on that is, but that might not be as damaging as some hard cost. Because, like I said, you want to try to take the advantage of the potential viral capabilities of this medium, but you don't want to get burned by it. Any other questions? But I'm also talking about sort of a broader control system. You know, there's a few customers we have that are able to send out unique coupons. So when they come in, they actually have it programmed in their point of sale system so that when coupon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is used, it can only be used once. Somebody else tries to use that coupon code, it'll come up, I'm sorry, coupon doesn't apply. But now we're talking about a more automated system. That's part of the integration part I was talking about, where, you know, when you send out a unique coupon in all your text messages, now you're not talking about just your basic broadcast. Each message that goes out is unique. And it's a few more steps in the creation of that message, but we have customers that do that, and it's something we can definitely support. Yes? There's a couple ways to do that. One, you can promote one keyword to one audience, another keyword to another audience, and that'll keep the list separated. You also, with our tool, we have a very basic CRM capability, so we can capture a few fields like their name, address, carrier type. I think there's about a dozen fields. It's certainly not as elaborate as Customer Connect, but we have a basic CRM capability. But then what you have to do is start drawing that information from your mobile subscriber. And I've seen customers do this, our customers do it, some more successfully than others. But you basically ask them, thank you for participating in our program. What's your name? Or where do you live? Give us your zip code. For instance, a lot of our political customers, what they want to do is find out the zip code of where people live so they can direct them to register and to where to vote. And so just in almost all their communications, they ask for a zip code. Some situations, people are willing to give up that information, others are not. That might be a place where you could, on the mobile web, is maybe ask somebody for their information there, gather data on them, and that will populate the CRM system. Any other questions? Okay, let me just go over here real quick. I asked people to text in some question. Does Mobivity help with building splash page for Wi-Fi access? Yes, we can help you out with that. In fact, we're actually going to make it so you can have a custom page and you can have advertising. You can connect it to an ad management system. Maybe you want to have some of your sponsors on that splash page. It's another source of revenue. Make it interactive, but yeah, we can custom design the splash pages on the Wi-Fi network. Do you have to give an initial offer to sign up? We've answered that question. Can you have more than one keyword attached to a shortcode? Yes. One thing I wanted to explain was the difference between I got a couple minutes left. The difference between a shared shortcode and a dedicated shortcode. Now, a lot of our big customers, like the Dallas Mavericks and Sonic and Disney and Sony, they have their own dedicated shortcode that they pay $1,000 a month for, and it spells out Disney. So text keyword to Disney. Text, tickets to Mavs. So they have a branded vanity shortcode. Not the keyword, but the shortcode is. And those are $1,000 a month. But for small to medium-sized businesses, in order to distribute that cost amongst many, we set up a system, us as service providers have set up a system where you can share shortcodes. And so on, say, this shortcode 55333, we've probably got 100 customers sharing it. And they're all distinguished or differentiated by their keyword. And that way, we can offer unlimited messaging plans at $79, and you're not spending $1,000 a month on top of $79. All right, thank you very much.